Hello YouTubes, do you remember this Athearn Blue Box -9 that I got from a trade show a couple of weeks ago? Turned out to be DCC, which is awesome, except the DCC decoder is now fried. So I'm going to upgrade it to a newer version, and for the first time I'm going to install some flashing ditch lights. So this locomotive was installed with a TCS T1. It's quite an old decoder now, and it used one of these motherboards that clips over the positive power connector and it goes through the motherboard, etc, etc. I think that's the wrong way around, to be honest. I think it's supposed to go that way, but regardless, the good news is it's already been isolated. The motor's been isolated, so we have the negative for the motor down there, positive for the motors up there. It's also got a nice little ground cable screwed onto the chassis, so that's a little ground lead there, and it's got these really nice little slidey clip things, so I don't have to solder the positive or the right rail onto that little tab there. It's got a little slider there and there. So our main wires are done. Going back to the bad news, I can't use this because it doesn't have the power outs for the extra functions for the flashing LEDs, unfortunately. And also, it's possible that this decoder has fried this. I did notice when I was trying to run it that this was getting very hot. So we're going to put that aside. Worst case scenario, we can always come back to that and see if it's fixable, but seriously, I don't think I can fix these things. Maybe just one of those is gone. Anyway, instead of that, I'm going to use a new version of the TCS, which is the, what is it, a T4 LED, and this is the one that comes with the extra lighting function. Still a basic forward, back, speed up, slow down decoder with lights, but so far, everyone I've fitted these to, they work great. Have to mess about with the CV settings a little bit, but generally quite happy. So, what's first? Well, I have already glued in the front and rear lights, those tiny little lights there in the nose and there at the back. They work great with these tiny little wires, obviously mega long at the moment, but I'll be making them a bit shorter. So in order to do the ditch lights, I'm going to try and utilise these solid boxes. At least I hope they're not solid. I hope they're actually hollow inside, because I'm going to try cutting off this section here and here, just the very tip, and get one of these wee grain of wheat bulbs through. Might be able to drill through all the way to the back if these are hollow. So I need to dig out a very fine drill bit for this. I'll start by cutting off the ends to make them flat, because at the moment they're a wee bit bulbous. So let me find something sharp. This should do the job. So as I say, it's just the curved section at the end I would like to remove, and hopefully it will reveal a nice channel that we can feed the wire through. Okay, it is not hollow at that point, but at least I've got a flat surface now. We can drill a hole all the way through. So there and there is a bit flatter now. Should be able to drill a hole through there. And we can always cover the white section with some black paint. That bit there's still a wee bit bulbousy. Just want to remove just that. Make it flat. I can drill through there, and you know what? I'm going to just drill all the way through to the underside. It's going to come out roughly just about there. You keep it this side of those steps though. Alright, let me dig out a drill. This one should be small enough to start. Obviously need to be very careful, patient. As you know, drilling through plastic creates heat, collects in the drill bit. Worth cleaning that off before we go any further. Making a bit of a mess, that's okay. Okay, we're all the way through. Made a bit of a disaster, but that's okay. A bit of black paint will hide that. I'll try and be a bit more careful with that side. And failing that, I do have extra ditch lights I can use, but they are purposely made with holes in them. I know that seems crazy why I'm not using them, but this is kind of an experiment so that I can put the good stuff on the more valuable locos. So let me try and do the other side a bit more carefully. Just as messy as the first side. Not too bothered. Look fine with a bit of black paint. Okay. I need to clean up the hole, make sure we can actually get a bulb to show through it. And then take it from there. Might need to make the hole just a little bit bigger. And of course, if you want to avoid all that melted plastic, use a pin vise. I do have one. I'm just probably trying to dig it out at the moment. Don't worry, I'll fix all my broken handrails after. Right, let's see if the hole's big enough. Obviously I'll be pushing it in from the other side, but at least this way we'll know if the hole's going to be... Oh, it's perfect. The hole is good. And it goes all the way through to the other side. Now, I'm not too bothered about getting this perfectly lined up because these are mega bright. And I don't mind if it's bouncing off the walls of the enclosure. And I'll probably put a little blob of super glue over the top just to diffuse the light a little bit. So that's poking out there. Probably bend it up a little bit. And then get a little bit of glue over the top. Should be fine. Just for talking's sake, I'll get a battery, see how that looks if it's not fully flush with the surface, if you know what I mean. Actually, I wonder if I could just bend it a little bit. Wonder if that would help. Okay, let me get a battery. Little 3 volt. And the other great thing about these decoders is they have built-in resistors, so we don't have to worry about getting a resistor on there. So even though that's not flush with the surface, I think that's going to be bright enough with a little bit of super glue over the top. Yep. Right, so let me do the other side, get some glue in the top and get these firmly in place. Decide what I'm going to do with the wire on the inside. Might need to drill another hole. Let's see. Might drill a little hole just about, try to find something to point with. Maybe just there to feed the wire through. I'll find a way of routing it. Anyway, I'll see you when they're both installed. Okay, that's my lights glued in place. Tidied up the black sections a little bit. Hopefully you'll focus on that. And on the inside, I've got them kind of tidied up along the middle. All the positives of the LEDs are wired up together. And all the negatives are separate because the decoder triggers each bulb with the negative wire. So I've got 1 positive under here and 4 negatives. Okay, let's get on with adding the decoder. Okay, I noticed in the last section of the video you can actually see the lights, but that's how they look. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not perfect, but Good enough for me. Okay, let's continue. Now, as much as I like that this has been pre-wired, these two black wires aren't long enough for what I want them to do, and they're the wrong colour, so I'm going to replace them with a couple of sections of red. 3 sections of red, which will make sense once I do it. Right, let me get these ones off. So for the red, we have got, as I say, 3 sections, and one of them is a fair bit smaller than the other 2. The reason for that is this is the same diameter as the one coming from the decoder. And these 2 I wanted a bit thicker because they're going to have to do a bit of twisting action. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to join these 2 together. Might need to clean that. Better. And then I'm going to join this one onto there. Like so. And then I'm going to get a bit of heat shrink to cover all 3 of them. Like so. So now we can attach the front to the rear, there and there, and then that leaves us with a feed from both of the right rails, or both the right rail pickups, going to the decoder. Okay, let me attach that. Don't want it too much slack because then it pushes down and all the moving bits. But the decoder will be sitting on top, so this can get taped to the top of the decoder. So it doesn't need to be very long at all. Let's go with, where's my snips? Oh, for goodness sake. Let's go with that much for that side. Bear in mind I'm going to have to strip a bit off. And there. Strippy time. Tin that one. Tin that one. And attach it to my pickups. Like so. So that will sit there, top of the decoder. That moves. That moves. Right, decoder. So I think I'll be putting the decoder about there. Not quite sure yet how I'm going to attach it. Either double-sided tape or a bit of hot glue. So the first thing I need to do is just put a little bit of solder blob there, because that is where the orange wire will be going. This job here doesn't need to be very long at all. So that just needs to go around there and attach there. So I think what I'll do is remove that little bar. I'm going to snip this since I know how long that's got to be, and I'll solder that on while this is off. Get this little wire ready. Okay, let's get this bar off. Got to be careful, remember, because there is a little spring under there and a brush. Keep your finger over it so it doesn't ping across the floor. Move that to the side. We'll get a little blob on the end there. A blob of solder, that is. And we might as well solder our orange wire on. I just want to do this off of the motor so that we don't melt the plastic that's holding this clip in. And also have it right at the end so that we're not interfering with anything along the top of that. Right, let that cool down because that brass copper strip will be very hot. Okay, that should be long enough. Get you back into position. Oh, it's still quite warm. Back of the clip goes on first. Push down on your spring. Clip it in place. So that is our positive motor feed going from the decoder to the top of the motor. Oh, I was going to do it that way, wasn't I? Nearly messed it up. I was wondering why the orange wire was so long. So that's going to go there. Let's see. I have not had much luck with double-sided tape, so I think I'm going to just hot glue it. Sometimes blue tack is good as well. But on this occasion, hot glue. Just a blob or two. Let me go and warm up the gun. I'm going to glue that in here. So more glue. You are going to go right there. Don't worry, you can tidy up the glue later when it's dry. That's fine. So these wires can fold over this way, and then when we're all ready to put it back together, we can put a bit of tape over them just to tidy them up like that. That one will sit up there. See how neat that looks? We'll see how neat it looks when we're done. Okay, let me wait for that glue to cool properly and we'll get on with the final wiring. I have connected the orange wire to the positive of the motor, so now I need to connect the grey wire to the negative of the motor, which is round here down to there. So we want it about that long. I'm just trying to keep the wires as short as possible so that we don't have any rubbing. Grey wire, grey wire. Remember your heat shrink tubing, always. And we'll get that connected down there. A little bit on the long side. That is not what she said. Right then, so that's us got our power from the decoder going to the positive of the motor and the negative of the motor. Let's hook up some power from the track. So we've got this red wire, that's going to go to, believe it or not, the red wire. And we've got this black wire going to this black wire. Get them connected. So that is the power in and the power to the motor side of things taken care of. Nothing's fouling, that should work just fine. So all that's left then is all these wires for the lights. Okay, let us begin with the easy one, which is the blue. Before that though, I'm just going to put a bit of tape around those wires. Keep it kind of tidy for now. Okay, and we can do these one at a time. Now, if you were paying attention, you will remember I said the blue is the common positive. Actually, did I say that? Well, I'm saying it now. Blue is a common positive, and it powers the positive for all these LEDs, which is why I connected all the red wires together, not the blues, because the blues on these LEDs is a negative. The blue on here is positive. The red on the LEDs is positive. Okay, so they all need to connect to that wire there. So that's the blue to all those reds, and each of these blue negatives go to the remaining wires. So I have got, I'll do these in order of, I don't know what sort of order, but I'm doing them in this order. White is the front headlight negative. Yellow is the rear headlight negative. And the green and the purple are going to be my ditch lights. So it doesn't really matter which way around they go. They're both negative, by the way, because it's going to alternate between the green and the purple, green and purple, when it flashes back and forward, okay? But it is important that I get these the right way around. I need to be careful to trim these short enough that I can still get this on, but not too short, that not too long that they're going to get in the way of everything. So let me fiddle about with that, and I'll see when they're all stuck together. And that is all our wiring completed. I wonder if I should just put a little bit of tape around there. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Just one little tape, just in case these heat shrink tubes slide off, because they weren't mega tight, because I don't have anything small enough really to grab the micro wire as much as I would like. Always worried that things are going to fall down below. Ideally, you want to make some sort of platform over the whole lot. Could probably just make one out of a bit of plastic or styrene or something. Right, I'm hoping that when this gets pushed down, that will sit there, these will go up the way, and everyone will be happy. Let's find out. So those wires are going to go up into the roof area and stay there, hopefully. Persuade them down a little bit. Everything else should just slip over. Nothing's fouling at this point. And we're in. Now, unfortunately, all the clips on this have broken that come through there. But it's okay because the couplers screw in through those holes and they kind of hold it all in place. So far, I think we're good. That still turns, that still turns. Let me get the couplers on and I'll see you on the track. Well, here we are then. Let's make sure we've got some forward and back movement first. Very nice crawl speed. A little bit buzzy, but it is an old Athearn motor, so can't complain. And reverse. Very nice. Okay, let's try some lights. Headlight, please. Lovely. I'll just check the reverse light or the rear light. Yeah, that's working too. Okay, the all-important ditch lights. So function 1 should switch both of them on, and function 2 should make them flash. Right, function 1. Pretty bright. I wonder if we can dull them down with something. Right, function 2. Very nice. And they'll stay flashing for about 5 seconds or something. I kind of like them bright, but I'm sure a lot of people will complain about that. Give them a flash again. They should probably go off in reverse, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Very happy with that though. Right, off you go. Another successful decoder install, my first ditch light installation. Now, I know the ditch lights look a wee bit messy, but I've got 2 packs of these. So on the next one, I'll take a bit more care. Plus, I won't have to drill big, ruddy holes. Now, as I mentioned, the decoder I'm using is a TCS T4 LED. They're about 20 American dollars, 30 Canadian dollars. Pretty great, no sound obviously, but lots of control and lots of light functions. Well, 3 light functions, but I think they're great and I'm going to get more. Thank you for watching. I will now hook up some freight. We'll go for the victory lap. Take care everyone. See you soon.